I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Entertainment Earth. They carry tens of thousands of licensed products covering everything from Power Rangers to Pokemon, Ultraman to Iron Man. And for RangerCast listeners, you can get 10% off your order and free shipping on any order $79 and up. Just go to ee.toys/ranger. That's ee.toys/ranger. Or click the link in our show notes. RangerCast may receive a commission from your purchase. This is RangerCast episode 28, recorded on Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. In this episode, Hasbro hits reset, a new Power Rangers video game, and an MMPR relic comes to light. Alright, this is RangerCast. As always, I am Tyler, and I have Josh with me.
What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's Tuesday is going well.
Yeah, so the big news is, by this time it could be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't know. The big news, of course, is that Power Rangers is canceled. We kind of all knew that it wasn't really happening after the strike and the sale of Entertainment One, and just the lack of focus on Power Rangers, and of course the news that we talked about last time, which was Hasbro throwing up their hands and giving the toy right, or licensing the toy rights, I should say, to Playmates because it just was not making enough money for them. So we're going to talk about that a little later on. For technical reasons, we've got to do a lightning round of all the other news before we get to that. First of all, I want to plug a Q&A we did with Morphin Museum, the anonymous collective of fans who are doing a great job preserving all kinds of ephemera from Power Rangers, going from the early days of MPR to the New Zealand years and everything between. They do some really great work. They just opened a Patreon, and you can check out our Q&A with them on our website, rangercast.net. And be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Now, first of all, speaking of, I guess, archival material, the second pilot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, kind of a mythical status sort of thing that was only really sort of seen at Tony Oliver's panels, or sort of seen in part at Tony Oliver's panels at anime cons and what have you. Director Adrian Carr casually dropped that on YouTube, and that led to it was really, really actually great to see that Q&A with Den of Geek, our old friend Seamus Kelly. Actually, incidentally, the upload came just after an article from Den of Geek about what the second pilot would have had. He says he doesn't know why it was reshot so many times, but he was involved in those reshoots. The first pilot, if you remember, had the Rangers in a bowling alley and being rather violent toward the bullies, which included Paul Schreier, who wasn't really Bulk at the time yet. He was just a bully number 3 or whatever. And executives want that opening scene toned down more and more until by the pilot that ended up airing, they reused a few shots from a later episode just to make it work. The second pilot also had a different morph sequence, something we've seen here and there, where the Rangers superimpose on G-Ranger footage, and other kind of weird little differences with the version that actually made it to air. Also, Power Rangers got some nominations for the venerable Kids' Choice Awards. Cosmic Fury is nominated for Best Kids TV Show. Hunter Dino and Tessa Rao are nominated for Female TV Star. And Chance Perez is nominated for Male TV Star. You can vote at kidschoiceawards.com. And I believe those are counted by Ernst & Young. I don't know. Also, it is Pride Month. Happy Pride to all of our Ranger fans in the LGBT community. Hasbro Pulse is putting up selling, I should say, a Power Rangers BU shirt. It has the MMPR power coins and kind of a rainbow motif. That is $28. They've done Power Rangers Pride Month shirts in the past. I'm kind of surprised that is the only one that they're selling, and not say anything featuring Cosmic Fury green and orange, but that's life. Ranger Academy, we know that the MMPR comics are kind of working their way toward the end. Ranger Academy is also working its way towards an end, according to solicitations for August. Ranger Academy number 9, which is out in August, says that this issue is the start of the final arc for the series, which feels like it only just began. Rather than leave us hanging entirely for comics news, Boom Studios announced the one-shot Power Rangers Infinity number 1, which is out later this year. In the wake of Darkest Hour, writer Sam Humphries and artist team Brandt and Stein set the stage for a brand new one-shot adventure featuring truly outrageous new team. This is from Boom. Die-hard Rangers fangirl Lola somehow finds herself mixed up in a marvelous mess of multiversal madness. Lola, along with a ragtag team of off-kilter Rangers formed across the grid, dubbed Infinity Force, must come together to face off against the mildly dangerous, needless villainess Poisandra, who has managed to snake her way across the fragile multiverse. Sam Humphries is best known as a writer on the Green Lanterns and Harley Quinn comics. And he says in the statement, fans are already saying that out of all the Power Rangers comic books that reference hockey goalies and Jane Austen, Power Rangers Infinity is the greatest of all time. I'm truly honored and absolutely couldn't have done it without Ted and Roe, Brandt and Stein, I should say. Not only is their art hilarious and heartbreaking, but they never once said it shouldn't be done. Not one time. And we will link the press release from Boom in our show notes. It will be available in comic shops and digital storefronts on August 21st. So be sure to pick that up on your way to Power Morphicon, which is that weekend. Also, speaking of comics, the return just wrapped. We do not have the time to talk about it. Maybe maybe next time. Just like we're going to get around to Cosmic Fury episode discussion. We were going to do the episode discussion on this episode, but then this news went and dropped, and we just had to, throw it out the window again. Now, in token news, Godzilla Minus One is on Netflix right now. You should go and watch it. Josh, have you seen Godzilla Minus One yet?
Yes, I have. I loved it.
Yeah, loved it. Fantastic. Triumph of the human spirit.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
It does so very briefly. It is very respectful to the franchise, while also just in my opinion, showing why Godzilla is truly a threat.
Yeah, and if you say it was made for $15 million, that's not true. The director wishes he had $15 million. It was actually made for closer to 10, which is just such an indictment of Hollywood. Now, granted, Japan doesn't have the same kind of labor standards or anything like that, but dang. I think the key is the director was also an effects guy. In fact, he actually was up there accepting the Oscars, one of the effects guys. And it is just, I think the key is that he knew what he could get away with in terms of effects and knew from the start what he wanted, so they didn't have to go back over and over and revise, because he was in the room with all those effects people later on.
It reminded me a lot of Spielberg's early days with Jaws, where when Godzilla was on screen, it meant something every single time, and really let the story drive that instead of it feeling shoehorned if Godzilla when he was in there. I love the story for it. It was very emotional, and that's how I always imagined a human element in a Godzilla story versus some of the newer stuff.
And you're seeing more and more big name celebrities come out and talk about how much they love this movie. I saw a video from Simon Pegg the other day saying people need to watch it, and they need to watch it in its original form, like that is not dub. I know there are some people with some minor criticisms about the dub, but that it's otherwise okay as these things go. But it is available both subbed and dubbed. I think you need to go into the settings a bit to make sure you're not getting dub titles, but the regular subtitles are available on Netflix.
I would also say too, I'm a dub person, but I also recommend watching it in subtitles. You don't get the same emotion that you do with the dub. You have to see in the subtitles.
Yeah. I mean, watch it both ways if you want. Maybe if you're trying to watch it with somebody who's like, yeah, I don't know about subtitles, then watch the dub. Whatever. Nobody's gonna get hurt. Another
Correct.
Toku news, Tokusatsu is kind of mixing things up. They've been a linear channel on Twitch, Pluto, YouTube, but they've been switching things up on Twitch and Pluto TV, where they won't be in sync with YouTube. And instead, there are multiple streams going on YouTube simultaneously. There's, I think, I checked a bit ago, they were streaming Gowranger. I think the other day they were streaming Alf in Japanese, which I understand is some kind of inside joke that I might have missed out on. But that's apparently a thing with them. They've also been streaming uh, like old Sonny Chiba films, that sort of thing. So definitely check them out on YouTube. Um, but as a kind of benefit of this, there will be fewer promos and trailers, different streams on each platform, and the Twitch and YouTube streams will air continuously, meaning shows and films won't like stop on the half hour or mark or something like that. So that's pretty cool stuff. Now, also Media Blasters, we've mentioned this in the past. They are putting out the set of Kamen Rider Shin Prologue, Kamen Rider Zio, and Kamen Rider J, and that is still. Let me actually rewind a bit. See, Media Blasters is putting out the Kamen Rider set, which is available for pre-order on their website. It is Kamen Rider Zio, not as the 1993 one, not the more recent series. Kamen Rider J, Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, but a bonus on this really, really limited collection that, once it sells out, is Kamen Rider World, which is a special that was made for amusement parks. It's an 8-minute special. There's going to be additional special features, what have you, but they're only selling it directly through their website, and it will be out shipping to fans this summer. And Mike Dent, a friend of the show as well, he contributed to the special features on that. So I'm really excited to see what he was able to scrounge up to help with that. I know he's really happy he's able to be a part of that. Also, Kakuranger, following in steps of Arikenger and Abaranger, Dekaranger, they are getting an anniversary episode, a 30th anniversary episode. This is from Anime News Network. On February 7th, the Twitter account for Super Sentai announced the 30th anniversary reunion, and the official 30th anniversary website released the full information of the Kakuranger fan meeting on March 30th. Let's see. So, in addition to the anniversary, Premium Bandai is putting out a limited edition Doron Changer. Premium Bandai, as you might know, does not ship overseas, but I'm sure there are ways to get it.
Nature finds a way.
Yeah, clickety click, click click. There is a brief promo trailer. The new episode is titled Ninja Sentai Kakuranger Dai Sanbu Chunen Futohen. That translates to Part 3 Middle Age Battle Arc. So that's going to be streaming sometime this summer on Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club, which again, you do not have access to. But the Core 5, they're going to be in it, along with Motoko Omori from the band Mr. Green Apple and the Rakugo performer Kanda Hakuzan. So be sure to keep a lookout for that. I'm sure, again, there are always ways. We also got some surprise Power Rangers game news, really kind of whiplash this week, the fandom, from the Summer Game Fest. Hasbro and the developer Digital Eclipse, which is owned by Atari, announced Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, which really, when you dig into the synopsis, is a game that probably should have come out last year, but it's still very welcome nonetheless. It reminds me actually of the old Genesis Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie game and other games like that. Did you get a chance to check out the trailer?
Oh yeah, I did. It looks fantastic. It looks so fun.
Yeah, the pitch of it is Roborita successfully going back and contacting her past self, and the original Rangers have to stop her. Uh, so it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up again along those lines. Robo Rita conjured a portal to send herself back in time so she could finally vanquish the Power Rangers by forming an alliance with the younger self. Working together, Robo Rita and Rita Repulsa rewind, rewrite, and remix the past in an attempt to stop the very formation of the Power Rangers, altering the course of history. So that will be out on multiple platforms. They aren't quite definitive on which platforms, but you can go on Steam and pre-order it now.
I think they said it was going to be for everything, because I could have sworn that I saw that crossplay was going to be available. So you can just play in a game
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That
But they haven't really explicitly said anything besides Steam. Like the difference between, is it on Xbox One? Is it on PS4? You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And also the Twitter account of Ark Survival Ascended teased a collaboration with Power Rangers, with MMPR specifically, with more to come, details to come on June 17th. We do not, as we record this, have any more details. I believe it's on Game Pass, but it's an action-adventure survival genre game featuring dinosaurs, so I guess dinosaurs aren't that big a leap.
Dinosaurs. Anyway.
Yeah. And also, again, gotta pivot now. Justin Nimmo, who played Zane, the In Space Silver Ranger, he recently revealed a battle with cancer over the last year or so. It was detected in his tonsils, and he's been chronically on Instagram his, everything up to this point, chemo, all that, and it's really quite scary. But he wouldn't be posting all this if he didn't think it was going to be okay, I would hope. He has rung the bell, and he seems to be in great spirits.
And that's definitely to thoughts and prayers, obviously, go to Justin. It does make a lot of sense why he has not been vocal on social media for some time.
Yeah.
I even thought, wow, it's because he's usually very, very active. And even I thought about 2 weeks ago before he posted this, wow, he's been pretty quiet. I wonder if he's just busy at his work or busy with other projects at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And cancer is a horrible thing. I lost my father to it. We also learned on May 31st, or rather, just after May 31st, that we lost Yuka Motohashi, who played Natsumi Yellow Racer in Car Danger. She revealed in 2021 that she had been battling cancer and was undergoing treatment. She was 46 years old.
And that's just as bad too. It's thoughts and prayers out to the family overseas as well. Like, cancer sucks.
Mm-hmm. In addition to her role on Car Ranger, she returned to the franchise in 2023 to portray Sonona in the finale episodes of Avataro Sentai Dome Brothers, which of course we did not see here. But yeah, it's a huge loss. At least fans will continue to discover her performances through streams and through DVDs worldwide. In fact, we mentioned that at Tokusatsu News, the day after she died, one of their YouTube streams was all Car Ranger in her honor. And I think that was a really classy move.
I agree.
Yeah. So, wow, we speed ran our news in a hurry. We had to actually cut things. We didn't know, how long it would take to go through all this.
Yeah, that was very impressive to get done in about a 12-minute span. Give me 1 minute, just 1 minute, because I know I'm long-winded.
Okay.
Morphin Museum, awesome. People need to go follow them because content they post is amazing. Power Morphicon, go to Power Morphicon. Kids Choice Wars, I'm glad that Rangers are still getting recognition. Pride Month shirt, awesome, go buy it. Ranger Academy, not surprised it's getting canceled because it seemed like a lot of people weren't vibing with it. The Return, meh, we'll discuss it another time. Infinity, I'm not sure who was asking for this comic. Godzilla, go see it. Toku stuff, I'll leave that to you because you're more the professional on the Toku stuff. MMPR game, like I said, awesome. And I don't play Ark, so go enjoy dinosaurs. Cancer sucks. Thoughts and prayers out to families. Boom.
Wow. Okay. Now we've got that out of the way, we're going to take a quick break for some promos, and we'll be right back with the big news of the day.
So you want to hear people talk about Japanese cartoons?
You know, anime.
But you think the other anime podcasters just aren't nerdy enough?
Sounds like you need to join forces with the Anime World Order.
Where each week 3 self-proclaimed experts offer you reviews
Of titles both new and classic, news and commentary.
Rants, convention reports, interviews with fandom.
and some hentai and yaoi for good measure.
So search for anime in the iTunes Music Store.
Or visit our website at animeworldorder.com.
Anime World Order, revealing the truth about anime, one podcast at a time.
All right, as promised, we did get some certainty just today on the future or lack thereof of Power Rangers. A TV line reports confirming something was going around from a fan that the live action series that was in development for Netflix at Entertainment One that was supposed to be helmed by Jenny Klein, overseen by Jonathan Entwistle, that is no longer happening. Hasbro, this is according to TV Line, is exploring a new creative direction for the series and with a new partner. Now, I think it's worded weirdly because the headline says Power Rangers series no longer moving forward at Netflix. I think that's a bit of a game of telephone because Hasbro does have a broader deal with Netflix. So whatever is going to come out of Hasbro Entertainment, there's not really anywhere else for it to air, I don't think. But the point is, whatever happens, it's not going to be whatever Jonathan Entwistle's vision was. It's going to be some other thing that is going to take longer to come to fruition.
It could be 5 years easily before we get any type of on-air show or new episodes or new season. That's wild to think about. That Renegade is posting new content for Power Rangers while the actual main branch is stagnant and non-existent.
Yeah, it's a really weird position, but when you think about it, like, it was all leading to this confirmation, from the strikes to the sale of Entertainment One to the financials that were discussed by Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, some weeks back, to the Playmates deal. And I don't think Hasbro is going to be that motivated to find a partner and facilitate a project for a property that was not making them a whole lot of money. And also there's the fact that there was so little of a push behind Cosmic Fury, not even almost no toy support at all. Hasbro didn't seem to care that they owned it. It kind of like Disney, Power Rangers became expendable, and I think it is expendable. And according to Josh, who's Living Ranger Key on Twitter, he has sources who told him straight up that Brian Goldner bought the brand without asking any of the research people at Hasbro. He bought E1 without really doing that same kind of due diligence. It seemed like Brian Goldner, who's no longer with us, was the only person who really had an articulated reasoning. And according to Hasbro's own research, one proposal that came out of that was to cancel live action series and switch to animation, which they can't really do because Toei has historically said no to that. Research also found that the core audience of 5 to 7-year-olds focus more on the color of the Rangers, so it'd probably help with if the Rangers are always the same, kind of like how Bruce Wayne is Batman. And, with him gone, you've got Hasbro people working kind of backwards to justify their decisions to have bought these things in the first place. And, of course, they sold Entertainment One and Power Rangers they bought for $500 million, and they probably overspent by a good $400 million.
Yeah, I think it's a topic for another day because we are limited on time today. But I do think that there was two different visions, and the initial, I always forget his name, so it's my
Jonathan
apologies.
Entwistle?
He's the one that passed away.
No, Brian Goldner.
Goldman, there we go.
Goldner.
Goldner, there we go. Goldner wanted to be an entertainment business, and Hasbro wanted to still be a toy business. When he passed away, they reverted back to the old habits, and by doing that, I think you see the shift of what Power Rangers potentially had to, we're just here to sell toys, guys. We really don't want to invest in this franchise for it. I don't think they overspent $400 million, but I do also think, though, and whether Ranger fans want to accept this or not, it's not a $500 million franchise, but it's not $100 million. I would say it's about a $200 million, and it plateaued a while back for it, and that people have to accept that.
Yeah, I think Josh Moore, Kentucky Jam, who we've referenced this on the last episode, talked to that toy analyst who explained, and I've been thinking about it, back in the day when Power Rangers hit it big, there weren't that many choices, and none of the choices for kids were nonlinear. But you forward to now, and show like He-Man will be there and then gone, because streaming, in a world where all the episodes drop at once, like, these things happen, they're on there, but kids have 1,000 different choices. So, they and their parents go to the toy aisle, and the show only has a shelf life in their mind for really not that much longer than they're watching it. Like, the days of them clogging the 5 or whatever on the way to Universal, those days are gone, and they're not coming back.
I will never say it will never come back, because look at X-Men 97.
Right, but that's more of a mass market thing, not for kids. It's for the people who were kids in 1997.
Correct. What I mean by that is, I think the direction they were going with Once and Always was the correct direction to go. I'm not saying necessarily stick solely with Mighty Morphin, but appeal to your older audience. I think them reverting back to these slapstick jokes, we're going to focus on the franchise, like the toys and everything, was the wrong direction for it. And I think people have just kind of, their media tastes have evolved from that. Like, they're not going to watch crap anymore.
Yeah,
for it. People are tired of that. It's basically, I'm going to make the abridged version of Power Rangers. Well, let's say briefly, Dino Charge. You could probably get about a 25 episode series from it if you cut out all the fluff. Man, with like Cosmic Fury, you could do probably roughly the same thing. It's a long movie. But for Dino Fury, 10 episodes with it, because it was a lot of fluff. So I think people have different tastes now, is the issue.
I think it's clear that, like, maybe a multi-pronged strategy would have worked for Power Rangers, but I think Hasbro did not have the patience to deal with the brand, especially, when you think about it, it makes sense. Like, they make money hand over fist on Transformers and G.I. Joe, and off having the toy rights to Marvel, Disney princesses, Lucasfilm, etc. So at that point, even if they paid $500 million for Power Rangers, at some point the sunk cost fallacy kicks in, and they got to do what makes them money right now. Like, they got to answer to shareholders, and if shareholders see, why are you wasting money on Power Rangers, they're Chris Cox has got to have an answer. So I'm not totally unsympathetic. I think there are fans who may be overly optimistic, but that's what that's fans are.
I think if you put Power Rangers on like a scale, how I see it is I refer back to the earlier of, is it $100 million franchise? No, it in my opinion, it is genuinely worth more than that. Hasbro just didn't give the respect to it that it deserved. The flip side of it, though, is how much more is it that for $100 million? Is it 200 million? Is it about 300 million? Because shareholders even said, if it's not Mighty Morphin, which how many times have we said it on this show, it does not sell. So that's why they keep pivoting back to that. And I think that's all part of it too, of the writing is on the wall for it. And I think we've seen that since the CEO passing away, was the even the entire tone of like the quality of the Lightning collection going down. Comics are wrapping up. We're seeing like,
I wouldn't say comics are wrapping up, because they're going to have something at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I am reserving judgment. I want to say they're not, but I think I might be overthinking it. I think there's too many things lining up that it's not.
I think the talk of like how much Power Rangers is worth now is kind of pointless if there's no reason to believe it's for sale. Hasbro just signed that long-term deal with Playmates that does not have the aura of Playmates having any interest in actually buying the property. That's true. Who would be interested in buying the property? I guess that's what it comes down to. And is selling a property like that, selling a brand like that, something Hasbro would even historically has had an interest in doing. And I'm not an expert, but even if it were for sale, who's buying? Saban cashed out. He got his $500 million. I believe he sold his Hasbro stock. I'm not sure. He's fine.
It's funny you say that, because I thought the same thing too, because that goes back to some of those, I forgot who it was, but video game companies were like, we're going to be selling this. Well, we're going to block it. Okay, then who else is going to buy it? Because they are still selling. And I think Power Rangers is the same way. I think who would buy it? It's not, to me, it is not a high risk, but I think some of the stuff is more expensive to make than what they thought. And people are now also starting to realize that. I think the fans have money for it, but I don't think they have the investment in some of it for like some of the newer stuff versus like, let's revisit some of the older stuff. Just like, what are we going to do with SPD in a year, guys? You're getting nothing.
Well, I mean, they tried. I mean, I think they did what they did in Once and Always and Cosmic Fury, knowing that they would never actually really have to deal with it, but wanted to put those breadcrumbs in there for fans.
Yeah, at the same time, though, they brought back Lord Zed because the show's ratings was going down, and they're like, well, we could bring Lord Zed in and bring some of the older fans back, and
I think Lord Zed worked even if you didn't know who he was. But
I mean, he is one of the most iconic villains, even across Power Rangers. Not just that.
But even if you're a kid at home who your parents were in elementary school when that show was on, you'd get a sense, I think, from what Lord Zed did in Dino Fury, that he's an absolute threat not to be messed with in Cosmic Fury. And I think the show does a little bit of catching viewers up on who Lord Zed was and why.
I honestly think that's due to the Boom comics, but that is two different opinions on that.
Yeah. So I think we're going to be probably dissecting this. The fandom's going to be dissecting every word of this article and, ingesting copium for the next probably couple months, especially at least until Power Morphicon. I think we probably won't even hear anything at Power Morphicon about the brand's future. We don't even know for sure if Hasbro is going to be there. What are they going to sell?
Man, you know what? Oh man! So you're going to Power Morphicon, correct?
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay, so that's where I feel bad for Power Rangers fans. Coming from the My Little Pony fandom, I know people see that, they laugh, whatever, don't care. We at least got a sense of closure, like, hey, season 9 is going to be the final season. Enjoy it while it lasts. I have to feel for Power Ranger fans who are like, we don't know what the heck is going on.
I mean, does it help that the Cosmic Fury, which I swear we're going to finish talking about, ended on a period rather than ellipses?
What do you mean?
That Cosmic Fury felt like an ending?
I mean, I would absolutely agree with you, even as Russ says the ending
and
felt.
that it
in
was
my opinion,
explicitly said by Simon Bennett and everybody else that this was the end of one timeline anyway. That there's no meat left on that bone.
I mean, I would agree with you. How many times have they tried to end the series? One,
Right.
2, 3.
But this is the first time that
we're
we were explicitly told that no matter what happens next, this is the end of this story.
Which, I mean, as I've gotten older, I understand why comics and like other franchises do soft reboots about every 10 to 15 years. It's to bring the fans in. Kind of makes sense after 30 years.
It's an issue number 1, like a comic would do. Somebody can start watching, SVU and not need to be caught up on what happened before.
Versus Cosmic Fury, where to genuinely appreciate it, you've got to watch some certain seasons from before.
You don't have to. I think kids can still get it, even if they haven't, watched MMPR or something.
Oh, I mean it more for like the older fans.
Yeah,
like kids can watch it.
Yeah, the target demo sure didn't watch Dino Charge either.
Yeah, I just think it sucks that Power Rangers is in such a weird limbo at this point because we don't know what, and maybe it's we need to wait until Comic-Con, wait till Power Morphicon and see what all is in plan, because maybe all this is old news and that we're just hearing about it now and they already have stuff lined up. I don't think Boom would just randomly tease wait till Comic-Con if they didn't have stuff. But on the flip side, we then see individuals like Toku J, who apparently, I guess, maybe was contracted with Hasbro. He's like, well, good to know my contract's pretty much done now at this point. And that makes you wonder, those Ranger suits he was updating, was that going to be tied to something?
Yeah, but the good news is we still have stuff to look forward to, like whatever has happened with the comics, like Rita's Rewind, and all the great stuff that fans, including Toku J, are creating. And, I think whatever happens, we still got the convention circuit, and we still have each other. So anyway, we are probably going to wrap this up, unless you have anything else to add.
I have something to add on it. I think the biggest thing to think about as well with the franchise is there is other options. Just because it doesn't have new stuff anymore in the sense of new episodes doesn't mean the fandom just closes up shop. That's why conventions exist, as you said. That's why people have RPGs, collectors, items, everything like that. I guess my concern just goes back to what is Hasbro? What is their next step is going to be my question. And I don't know if we're even going to get that answer in a couple months for that. Because let's be honest, anything new, it's going to be 5 years down the road. Easy.
We won't have the Lightning Collection to kick around anymore.
We won't have. Well, I'm going to miss our days of complaining about the quality of the Lightning Collection. But then again, that goes back to what we said earlier, though, is we don't know if Hasbro really knew what to do, because I thought about this and I discussed this with you before. We never got in the when did Power Rangers get bought by Hasbro? 17, right? 18, close enough. Not once did we get a HasLab, and we went bros like.
Yeah, the HasLabs we got were very awkward. Like they were just waiting to get to Star Wars. It was just like an interlude. It was very rare that there were streams that were really focused on us.
Correct. And then then we have the infamous streams like the go buy the pinata. No, I'm not buying a pinata. But you would think with the Power Rangers franchise, who are willing to pay for high quality items, why did we not get one HasLab just to see?
Yeah, I mean it's like there's Bandai after we lost Bandai Greg, And then there's Hasbro after they laid off Jason Bischoff.
Yeah. That's where I am more of I'm definitely going to be optimistic of wait and see, but I think it is a writing on the wall. How are they going to treat this franchise going forward? I don't know. I don't think they trust anybody enough. That's the problem either.
Like a Kmart that Kmart forgot was still open.
Yeah, that's a great example. I was going to use the example of 90s comic books where all these convoluted storylines across everything, like just jumbled everything up, and you really needed someone to like rein everything in to take that next step. But that took movies and everything to do that as well.
Yeah.
Or a visionary. Again, I use the MLP example for it, but Warren Fox doing that gave a direction. That's what I mean. Kevin Feige and
Feige?
MCU. Feige, I'm sorry. Feige.
Who doesn't know how to pronounce Kevin Feige's name?
Huh?
You know how to pronounce Kevin Feige?
I stumble over my words. Don't judge me.
Okay.
But he had at least a vision through Infinity War.
Well, Entwistle was going to be that guy. And, here we are.
Can I throw a theory out there?
Okay.
I don't think Hasbro ever wanted to be an entertainment company. I think they always just wanted to continue to be a toy company. And they gave him just enough reasons. Like, they gave him enough power to be able to do something and question it later. But now we're seeing more of these buyer's remorse. And I don't think it's even buyer's remorse. I think it's just, we're in a bad situation, guys. How can we not directly talk about it to the crowd? I think there's more to it than that, but we'll never find those secrets out as well.
Yeah.
Just like, for example, I think there was a lot of setbacks for it. Like, I don't know how true it is. Okay, this is just all speculating. I think when Hasbro brought the franchise, for example, they thought they were going to get the Megazord molds. Well, Bandai went, LOL, no, you're not. It took us, 5 years to get our first Megazord at that point. I think there was little things that just, death by 1,000 cuts. That's what I'm trying to think of. That just piled up. And this is where they wanted to go, but this is what happened. And I think in 10 years, I think we're going to get a lot more information of all the stuff in the background. And I think we're going to get stuff that only confirms some biases, but also is going to surprise us for it and how much dumpster fire it is in the background.
All right. Well, our time's actually nearly up. So you have anything to plug? Where can people find you?
Same places as they always can. They can find me on X, though I may be trying to move away from X here soon, but always at Crimson Sooners. Like I said, it's getting close to football season, so just letting y'all know it's probably going to be very football specific for it. But other than that, just going to be rando posting like usual.
All right, great, thanks. Well, you can find us at rangercast.net. You can still find us on Twitter at rangercast. You won't see many football tweets from us. On Facebook, YouTube, you name it. I don't think we're on Blue Sky yet. But yeah, find us wherever you can, and we will see you next time. If you like what you just heard, find us at rangercast.net or look us up in your favorite podcast app. Reach out to us on Twitter or leave a voicemail on our website. The opening theme is by Daniel Park. The ending theme is by me. RangerCast is distributed under Creative Commons license. Attribute and share alike.